Masamune Nakebe admires the attractive demon in the mirror after taking a shower. His well-defined muscles tense and flex as though he were standing for a Greek sculpture. Unfortunately, his posing is interrupted when his sister, Chinatsu, casually refers to him as the personification of vanity, since honestly, shampoo, shower, and a quick pose in front of the mirror in the morning. Masamune immediately refutes the charges and claims that he is only setting a good example for himself. She sneakily inquires as to how he could forget about their sibling bond only because they briefly lived apart after he reprimands her for entering his room. Masamune turns his focus to an image on his corkboard and is reminded of a vow he made to himself. He will never again be gullible or helpless. A cheerful youngster named Kinu Hayes, who informs them that breakfast is ready, breaks up his gloomy attitude. Sadly, for Masamune, their breakfast is stuffed with sweets and carbohydrates. Chinatsu ignores her mother's sobs and instead concentrates on her food, remarking that Masamune has shed a lot of weight. Kinu continues to sob dramatically, especially as her son walks away without finishing his meal. He then stops to watch some cute tennis players, but as one of the females cries, "What are you gawking at?" his heart freezes. Masamune is going crazy. The girls are chasing after him and yelling at the poor sod behind him for taking illicit photos. Then he knows it's time to go. Before he can say anything, one of the girls recognizes him as the charming transferee with a flawless entrance exam score. They even encourage him to join them for a game of tennis. Everything relies on how attractive you are. He lives up to this motto. Masamune joins a group of students in viewing a public confession as they get closer to the school building. Shiji Yamada, who is extremely attractive, well-liked, and overconfident, is confessing to the cruel princess, as the students refer to her. With a microphone in hand, the said nasty princess is seated on the school's rooftop. The wicked princess laughs in response to Shige's cocky pose and prods her to respond, at which point she reveals that she had her staff conduct a background check on him. And what did that background investigation turn up? That he consumes the manga. Oh, geez. I'm Ryu by Gentoku in a gender-swapped romance of the Three Kingdoms. I like to stare at my underclassman's upper arm flap. I wrote an empowerment fantasy novel with a main character who bears my name, and I always have a single hair sprouting on my mole. To top it all off, the spiteful princess displays the banner she had fashioned for Shija, christening him with the name Mole, which has caused all the pupils to avoid their beloved Shija-senpai. Masamune is startled by the spectacle, but he reminds himself that he can't afford to lose his composure over something so small. The well-known mean princess walks by as he tries to boost his confidence, and they make eye contact. A female once told an overweight boy that she would never fall in love with him while throwing a bouquet at his feet. With a cold sweat, Masamune awakens from that nightmare as a female chirpily approaches him. It's the class rep, T. Futaba, and although she feigned to reprimand him for falling asleep in class, she goes on to say that it only shows how well he's adjusting to school. Knowing this gives Futaba some relief. Kajiro Shuri suddenly walks into the room carrying food. Masamune is grateful that he was so generous to get him lunch, but the yakisoba bread is loaded with calories. Later, he'll have to perform an additional 100 crunches. Kajiro praises Masamune for being so outstanding when he is eating. Although he has excellent grades, he is not arrogant. He is also attractive and skilled in sports. A voice asking to be heard is then heard interrupting their chat. She is the vile princess. When she enters, she grabs Masamune by the necktie and asks if Tanebe Akio is present or not. When Akio Tanebe raises his hand and introduces himself, the intense stare down between them ends. The nasty princess is satisfied when she reads a letter that begins, "I fell for how dignified you looked in PE class." After she leaves, Kajiro informs Masamune that the vengeful princess, like him, has the highest GPA in their class and is also stunning. Masamune becomes confused at the mere mention of the name. He abruptly stands up from his chair and runs after her before stopping at the door. After turning to face him, Aki eventually turns away. Masamune is in disbelief. Finally, he ran into her again. He didn't anticipate running into her again so soon. Later that day, Aki is surrounded by her all-girl lackeys for some tea. They resemble a hybrid of simps and lackeys. Masamune observes them from a distance and remarks that he had assumed girls would be afraid of her, but she seems friendlier around them. Masamune notates Kajiro's explanation that girls find her candor to be cool. He bombards Kajiro with inquiries about Aki's personality traits, likes, dislikes, and even tendencies. When they notice Aki departing, the lads flinch. Except while she is eating, it appears that girls follow her constantly. He'll need to look into this issue more thoroughly. Kajiro swiftly alerts Masamune about his scheme, saying that Aki might do him harm. He shouldn't worry, the taller boy assures him. He hurriedly gets up from his position as he then realizes something. Oh, he lost track of Aki. That is until he notices a bag being carried by one of Aki's henchmen. He instantly follows her to a building after noticing anything odd. With Aki berating her for taking so long, Yoshino sneaks into the building holding the bag. Yoshino apologizes for being late and for receiving only 2 cutlet sandwiches. Ah, I see what Aki is holding in the metal case. It's a spider. An elephant. Masamune runs in, yells in terror, and collapses in a nervous heap in front of Aki. So much for sneaking around. He laughs as he realizes his error and explains that he wasn't listening in. He merely observed Yoshino coming this way. Are you saying that you didn't expect I'd be in here? Becky asks. Iki would eat lunch in the storeroom, I suppose. She also seems to enjoy eating calorie-dense foods that are only healthy for persons who engage in strenuous physical activity. He is causing trouble, so Iki asks him to leave. Masamune urges her not to worry and maintains a friendly manner. She is hardly the only sporty female who eats more than she does. Becky admits that she's powerless to stop. If she consumes food like everyone else, she simply becomes ravenous quickly. Masamune hastily informs her that he has somewhere to be, but Iki asks for his name before he can depart. As most of his classmates refer to him, he gives her his last name. However, this does not shield him from Iki's menacing gaze. She cautions, tell anyone about this, and you'll regret it. Masamune shudders at the thought, but he thinks he's been given a trump card. Masamune has been seen hanging out with Iki more since this. Because of this, Kojiro informs him during physical education that there is a class rumor that he could be the cruel princess's potential love interest given that he has just become close with her. Kojiro is informed by Masamune that it isn't at all like that. Play clips of Iki attempting to sabotage his day. He responds that he is okay when the girls watching his game with Kojiro inquire if he is alright. He begins to pick up the ball, but a passing child urges him not to be so arrogant. Man, it seems as though not just girls may be frightful while in love. Yoshino looks to be nodding off when Iki leaves the school. She is urged to wake up since she is once hungrier. She urgently needs to eat. Yoshino inquires as to whether she would want rice or bread. But Iki only replies that she feels weak and doesn't care what she has. She should buy it quickly. She leaves Iki and dashes off to a shop around the corner. Iki is concerned about how her physique is deteriorating in the meanwhile. When she attempts to find out where Yoshino went, a boy's voice says, "You're in quite a hurry. Do you plan to meet Makabe?" The person she refers to as the Pudding Prince is Akio Tanabe. He tells her to stop talking before she can continue. He tugs her hair by grabbing it. She advises him to let go of her and that she doesn't care about appearances. He's going to cut off her lovely princess hair because he's not finished with her yet. But someone snatches his scissors before he can accomplish anything. Masamune appears. Given Iki's reputation, he expected this to occur. Akio flees while shouting after realizing that Iki is no longer by himself. Masamune wonders if Iki is wounded even though he is bleeding. She ought to be the one asking him this, says Iki. If she is safe, he tells her it doesn't matter. Once it penetrates, that kind of cut just stings. Masamune thinks that since Iki has done this, he can no longer be cruel to him.